Hello and welcome to the 22nd episode of This Week in Mappercraft. Only a day late this time, I think. Getting back on schedule. Last week was May 24th to the 30th, and we'll be covering the years of 2016, 2017, 2020, and 2022. As always, all information here can be found on the Mappercraft wiki, which is linked in the description along with the server itself. Let's get into the years. First up, in 2016, the server was running Earth World 4, hosted by Monsoon Jr. In 2017, the server was running Earth World 6, hosted by Xenodyne. In 2020, the server was running both Solace World 2 and the Hawaii World, hosted by Solace and Vegetable, respectively. And finally, in 2022, the server was running Earth World Redux, hosted by Damani at first, but then topped later in the week. And first up, we have a very eventful week in 2016 during Earth World 4. This slide has events from May 24th to the 28th. First, on the 26th, Josh's early return war occurred when a mob of players advocated for the player Thentacle, also known as Josh, to be unbanned early. Eventually, an unknown admin unbanned him, and he immediately joined the server and started looting multiple cities. According to the quote, he was eventually rebanned for the correct time, ending the war. 2 days later, on the 28th, the Franco-Armenian skirmish occurred when Tomad demanded Java C, the leader of France, hand over the region of Alsace-Lorraine. Java refused, and according to the quote, he kicked Tomad out of Bordeaux with the assistance of FedEx, although only as a mercenary, as Starum was not officially involved. Also on the 28th, the Riga incident occurred when General Gems claimed the city of Riga, which was owned by Yesti. According to the quote, Starum got involved, and although General Gems at first refused to leave, he was eventually convinced and joined Lepenia instead. Also on the 28th, for the last event of this slide, Java C respawned the Ender Dragon for apparently the first time in Mappercraft history. According to the quote, this frightened some people, but more importantly, it activated the new features of the End in Minecraft 1.9, such as Chorus Fruit. An exciting achievement for the community. Next up, we have 4 events from May 29th and the 30th, 2016, during the back half of the week for Earth World 4. First, on the 29th, the Ultimate War kicked off, ending the Entente era and transitioning into the Vengeful era. The war primarily occurred between Lepenia and Starum, as the ADP Union had fallen apart in the waning days of the Entente era. France declared war to assist Starum, and Armenia responded by joining with Lepenia to form Laurania. According to the quote, Matt, the leader of Laurania, eventually decided to attack the entire world, and Laurania was considered to have conquered all nations successfully for a time. However, their invasion of Panathia was controversial for their supporters, and a Franco-Starmiglian resistance movement quickly formed. After Havana got nuked, the capital of Laurania, Lepenia, a mutual white peace was declared by both sides, and most cities rolled back. According to the wiki, there was no clear winner, although it does seem like Lepenia probably did quite well, as they captured most Starmiglian cities. Unfortunately, this peace would not last, as on the next day, the Tallinn-Helsinki attacks occurred when Laurania declared war on ESD again, attacking Tallinn and Helsinki. According to the quote, FinMapper was the only member of ESD online at the time and left the nation in response to the attacks. This was followed up on the same day by the so-called Dark Lepenia Wars, stupid name, when several players in Laurania conspired to bring down both ESD and France. According to the quote, they were very successful and destroyed much of France, Livonis, and the Baltic cities, as well as the nation of Texas. Imperia also declared independence from Starum due to the invasion. In response to all this destruction, ESD finally counterattacked on the 30th with FedEx's Revenge War, where FedEx got online to see most of his nation destroyed and thus responded by invading Korea. There was a skirmish in Vask, but mostly the war involved a server-side manhunt for FedEx. According to the quote, the Lepenians eventually found him and forced a white peace, although FedEx did leave Starum for a short period due to this. And that marks the end of this pretty eventful week in Earth World 4. Next up, we have a handful of events from May 24th to the 30th, 2017 during Earth World 6. First, on the 24th, the Mississippi River in the PAU was widened, making it fully traversable for the first time. According to the quote, Towns quickly sprang up along the river, and it created a major internal trade route from the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico for the PAU. Next, on the 25th, the Juji invasion of Copenhagen occurred when staff spawned in a bunch of mobs to act as a sort of non-player character and invade the city of Copenhagen. According to the quote, the city was defended by Solace and Zacharin, who eventually won the battle and defeated the mobs, apparently beating a sort of boss mob that was spawned in. Next, on the 27th, France attempted to declare independence from Starum, although it was considered a meme by the Starmiglians. According to the quote, the stated reason was that Extra, a member of Araga, was invading, which was untrue, so the declaration was not taken seriously. Also on the 27th, the London Vask Iceway was cancelled by Starum. A joint project between Starum and Araga, it had not been completed at the time. According to the quote, it was cancelled because apparently the Aragans lacked the compromise to complete it, whatever that means. But that marks the end of this week in 2017. Next up, we have a couple of events from May 24th to the 29th at the end of Solace World 2. On the 27th, the server went down to download the world file as planned. As stated in the quote, anything after this date was not saved in the world download. The next day, on the 28th, a poll was begun to decide the new world, with the options being either a Hawaii map or a new Earth map. According to the quote, Hawaii won by a strong margin, almost 2/3, I think, there. The next day, on the 29th, Solace World 2 went back up in a sort of free-for-all mode where griefing was allowed. This can be seen in the quote here. And next, we have a few events from May 29th and the 30th, 2020, during the beginning of the Hawaii map. Technically, Solace World 2 was still playable, as there were 2 hosts, although that period of time was not saved in the world download. On the 29th, the Hawaii map was officially won the world poll, becoming planned to be the next map to be used. Here's the quote. Next, on the 30th, for a very quick turnaround, the Hawaii map opened in the evening. According to the quote, land claims opened at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and the world opened an hour later at 10 p.m. And with land claims opening, many nations were formed. Here's the full list. It includes the state of Peony, Waimomi, the state of Hod, the serfdom of Kauai, I'm pronouncing these probably not well, Oceania, Point Kia, Yacht City, the holy territory of the temple, the Asgar commune, and the free city of Kanoe. But that marks the end of this week in 2020. So next week we'll see Hawaii World really get started. And for the final slide this week, we have a few events from May 24th to the 30th, 2022 during Earth World Redux. First, on the 24th, the Mappercraft news video was released by Green the Pear. It's a great video, and Green is a great help to advertise the server. I just wish he'd actually release more videos, or at least get some sort of schedule going. I'll link that video in the description, though, because it is really good. According to the quote, it was mainly on the Sur dispute, although it did include some other topics as well, kind of minorly mentioned. Also on the 24th, the server went down as staff attempted to remove Damani as host. This was due to her using admin privileges to help out her nation and to promote sort of sycophants to the staff team. Additionally, she had leaked IPs of players to others without their consent, so definitely a good reason to remove Damani as host. Although Damani did still control the server proper, staff acted quickly to retrieve the world download and ban Damani from the Discord. At first, it was simply announced that the server had gone down due to technical issues, but eventually Abolished Suburbs Mitch made an announcement seen here, in which it was explained that the rest of the sort of veteran staff team and developers were severing her connection to the server. Fortunately, a few days later, on the 30th, the server was able to reopen on the same world with Top as the new host. A longtime player and personally well known among the staff team, Top was a decent choice as host. This is the relatively normal announcement made by Dan at the time. I was not around for this. I'm going to be honest, when I was on staff back in 2021 and 2022, it was kind of dysfunctional with a couple of different sort of pseudo-political factions and the host changing so frequently. It doesn't really surprise me that Damani as a host kind of blew up. Top was definitely a good choice. He doesn't play anymore, since I assume he actually has a real life now. But he's ultimately probably a good guy. He was a bit difficult to work with on the staff, though. I think he'd make a much better host than staff member, personally. Kind of similar to how I feel about Bonito Pib. Anyway, that's the last event for this week in 2022. And this marks the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and check out the server at the link in the description. As always, if you have any additional information about any of these events, leave a comment down below or go ahead and add it to the Mappercraft wiki. See you next week from May 31st to June 6th.